Okay. Testing, testing. Wait, testing, testing? Testing, testing. Okay, so apparently I do need that audio fix. Um, never mind. Welcome back, y'all. When I was resetting my Xbox party thing, for some odd reason, it just decided to, like, it's not that the game crashed or anything, it just was not responding to any of my control presses. I think something was going on with the software where it thought that I was still in the little overview menu. So that was a little annoying, but we're gonna finally offload the spoils of victory over here. And I was like in the audio test just now, the audio was still the audio was choppy when I was doing the thing with the freaking. So that's not an option. Thunk. Where am I going? Oh yeah, gun runners. I think I'll pick up another suit of armor. Let's see, Crimson Caravan might have something. Um, Honestly, the Van Graffs might have some more mods too. I'm actually, well, I can't sell them a whole lot because most of what I have is weapons. So I think first we're going to visit the gun runners, and then by then we'll have enough money that we can just buy whatever we like from the Van Graffs. Or trade in some modifications. That way it's just less weapons that the game has to keep track of across the companions. Across me, Veronica, and Eddie. Me, my friend, and my dog. I saw that you were freaking out. Veronica, what the fuck are... What? What? No! What? Where is she going? V, how are you going so fast? Where did she think that I was... That's weird. I think she thought that I was in here or something.
Potential customer. Welcome, sir or madam. Do you wish to purchase something?
Nah, you're fucking wrong. You're incorrect, sir. You don't even know what... I mean, I don't... Oh! I didn't know that they sold freaking let's see. I don't know that they sold energy weapons mods, but that's awesome. They don't sell energy weapons, and I remember that they used to, but then they were some caravans were being targeted that were doing that. Probably the Van Graffs were doing some underhanded shit. If I had to guess. I mean, I know who it was, but I'm just saying, like, logically, like, the Van Graffs are the only energy weapons business in New Vegas, and they like to keep it that way. For scope, we'll sell the small fry shit here. Shit, that's taking up space in my fucking inventory. We don't need stim packs. Or chems. Or rebound. Or psycho. Yeah, I mean all that. Only we need medics or any of that. We already donated shit to the followers. And we're keeping the myriad of anti-venom we have in case we do end up fucking up some cazadors. I don't know if, like, if you give a companion anti-venom, if they'll use it. Did I not recycle the other? I didn't recycle some of my other stuff, did I? No, I didn't. These modifications I can probably sell. Just because I don't really... I'm collecting the named weapons of every genre, but I don't think that I'm collecting... just like other weapons and whatnot. I think if I give my companions certain weapons, they will be weapons that that they'll be the unique variants of those weapons. Like there's a unique minigun that I want to get a hold of for Boone during the final battle. And I want to get Veronica one of the ballistic fists, which to be fair, a ballistic fist in of itself is not a unique weapon, and I think it is renewable depending on which merchants you find. It's also like it's very, very powerful though. And unlike other weapons, it does not, unlike ranged weapons, it does not require ammo. So we'll get this because there's at least 2 more companions we're gonna nab that can use this kind of armor. Let's see, what's the state of this armor? There's the one we're wearing, which could use a little bit of repair. Okay, that's the condition that they're in.
Welcome, sir, or...
Let's see. An anti-material right with this motherfucker here. While it's very powerful, and I think this is a master level gun, and it's like a very powerful, essentially sniper rifle. This gun is apparently the type of stuff that they would use on, that pre-war they would use. Like, there's real life variants of this, like the Hakati. I'm not sure that's how it's pronounced, but, it's essentially a gun that you use on heavy armored things, like even like certain vehicles and whatnot. This thing will tear somebody up, and it does a lot of damage. The energy weapons variant of this, I think, is the Gauss rifle. And it's not an exact equivalent, but... And the Gauss rifle can get a little buggy. Light machine gun... Marksman carbine. This is one of my favorites to use when I'm doing a guns only. I like carbines. Like I said, my knowledge of carbines is a little limited, but I understand the basic thing of it is it's supposed to be tighter, more compact, easier to handle than a standard rifle, and they're better for if you're like fighting like close quarters around like spaces where you need to find cover in some tight areas. Carbine, like obviously carbines are a thing in real life. Alright, any helmet will do, really. We'll buy this, and maybe this. That should be enough. And I'll buy this, and maybe this. Yeah, I know I'm fucking over encumbered. You're not telling me anything I don't already know. Okay. I can just sell the metal. This is a cool looking helmet here. Okay.
Welcome, sir, or...
This armor looks fucking badass. I'm not gonna wear it because I don't like wearing things that reduce my stats, but... don't know. Hang on. Where's the... Oh, that's the helmet that I still have. Let's wear this shit. Okay, the metal armor... Ooh. Ooh, okay, that's not bad, but I really like the design of the helmet. It kind of reminds me of, like, the plate armor, like the plate helmets from freaking, what do you call it? Fable. But the helmet especially, oh my goodness. This is some beautiful craftsmanship right here. Alright, let's sell it.
Welcome, sir or madam.
We're gonna get Nikki. Obviously, like I said, we're not wearing it. It reduces our stats, and I typically don't prefer heavy armor.
Ooh, got something good for me? Is it a dress?
Ah, that's fully repaired now. Fully repaired helmet and armor. Probably for Cass, like maybe once we do some stuff for Crimson Caravan. Forgot how fast you move when you're not over encumbered. Oh, we actually already have a... It's not fully repaired, but we do have a set here. We'll just keep this on us, but we'll remember that we have it. Holy fuck. Some good eats about to happen. We'll probably be buying weapons mods so that we can successfully trade all this.
Welcome, sir or madam.
We'll see if the Crimson Caravan has anything, and then maybe we'll do some jobs for them as well. Let's see here. I say we just unload all this. Just be careful not to sell anything. We are well past. We'll sell some of these. Or we'll sell these too. What? We'll sell some ammunition we have too. It's just kind of taking up space. One thing I do want to keep. I don't want to keep surplus 5 mil. In fact, see, armor piercing, in my opinion, seems like a good time because basically, I think what Chet tells us, I don't know if I actually asked him, but what Chet tells us about ammo, he gives us the background on, you know, guns ammo because that's what he's most familiar with. Oh, damn. I know 5mm rounds did all that. Oh, this here, I think this is like beyond what you're gonna find with most enemies for like a damage threshold. But basically what he says is with this, like let's use a different example. Here, this is pretty standard here. Armor piercing takes off the damage threshold, but it slightly reduces the amount of damage that you do to a target that's not heavily armored. Literally 0.5% off, though. Like, when I figured that out, I was like, oh, so you may as well just use armor piercing rounds even once your enemy stuff is reduced, because it's like, the amount of damage is like, okay, like, let's say like 100 damage versus 95 damage. It's not that much in the grand scheme of things. And the hollow point, though, is where you really want to be careful, because this is for unarmed targets. Only thing is, or unarmed targets, only thing is, the way it works mathematically in the game is you can see it multiplies your target's damage threshold. So if your target is completely unarmored, hollow point's the way to go, and it'll do more damage. But if your target has any metal armor on, it will heavily disrupt the amount. It will effectively increase their armor rating, and decrease the amount of damage that the bullet does. So that's how it works mathematically. But with armor piercing, it doesn't look like that's that much of a big deal, you know? So I'm going to pick up some armor piercing rounds. I'm eventually going to collect them. Or I'm going to collect them over time because there is, like I said, there's a certain character that I want to eventually be using them. So we'll let him use the armor piercing ones, and those don't have the biggest effect on, those don't have effect on your condition or anything like that. But we'll collect these from like gunners. Maybe we'll go see Quartermaster Barden. We don't need the camera. Actually, well, we completed the task, so we probably don't need the camera film anymore. So I'll sell it. Wait a minute. No. I'm keeping it in case what's-his-name shows back up. And then we'll be able to sell it from there. Flamer... Do I want to keep the flamer fuel? Maybe. Alright, we sold a fuck ton here, so I think we already have the we have the expanded tanks. I don't know if we have a laser RCW that does this, so we'll grab the mod for that. Maybe we will start collecting mods. We have a very good problem. The amount that we've sold is so much that we were able to buy all the mods, and we're still overbalanced by a lot. So we're gonna have to dial it back on the weapons that we're selling. Let's take back the marksman carbine, the hunting revolver. Okay, there we go. Holy fuck. Which means we have a lot in, let me look up the financial term, because I think the term liquid assets refers to your money, things that are easily maneuverable. Liquid assets. It's are either cash or something that can be turned into cash very quickly or retain their value. Okay, so that is liquid assets then. And I think it's called liquid because, similarly to how liquid is, how it easily flows, depending on what containers it's put in, it's not very resistant. It's easy to gather and manage like that. I think that that's what that means. Whereas something solid, that means it's like also has like a certain shape that you have to worry about. And you want to make sure that the shape is like wherever you're putting it or however you're handling it is with that shape in mind. But if something's liquid, that means you can just pour it in a container of your own desire. It will take the shape of whatever container it's in, because of the way that works. Same thing with other fluids like air. I think for now we will work at the Crimson Caravan. Because we have this new suit of armor, and we don't have anyone to put it on, so... Well, that sounds like something we gotta do something about, doesn't it? Ruby's casserole. Eddie, 5 more. And if we ever run out, we'll just go hunting again. I am sure there's more rat scorpions. This game is not wanting for things that you can do. And that's not even to mention the DLCs. Hell, depending on how much I exhaust this game, like how much I exhaust the base game, we might even hit level 50 before we start the DLCs. There is still plenty to do.
Hey there. You looking to buy or sell?
Yes.
Can do.
Actually, yes. Where does the Crimson over here giving myself critical damage? Where does the Crimson Caravan Company get its merchandise?
Trade routes, my friend. Trade routes. Just about every major town in the wasteland has a Crimson Caravan branch in it.
Do your caravans ever trouble? Actually, where are you from? Let's make this conversation uncomfortably familiar.
A little place in the NCR called Oak Creek. Used to be a farming town until it got taken over by ranchers. I didn't know I did ramen for a living, so I signed on with the Crimson Caravan and headed east. Not much to tell, really.
Interesting. We've been hearing a lot about that in the NCR. Do your caravans ever have trouble from bandits?
Out here, we usually split our caravans into smaller bands. That way, we don't lose everything if they get hit.
Oh.
It's not very efficient, though. But hopefully, we'll be able to start running larger caravans once things get civilized.
Interesting. There are also some mods over here as well. Typically, one thing I've learned is the more focused or the more like optimized the weapon is, the less modifications are available for it. I don't think there's mods available. There might be mods available for the hunting rifle or the hunting revolver, I mean, but there's no mods available for the marksman carbine. It is perfect. Or in that manner, it is. Oh yeah, ammo. He might have some ammo too. Oh, there we go. All right. Oh, he does not have much money. Okay. Well, that's fine.
Our rangers are gonna show everyone what happens when we're pissed off.
Okay, our rangers. Don't tread on the bear.
Welcome back.
McLafferty. I'd like to know more about the Crimson Caravan Company.
Certainly. What would you like to know?
How long you been in business?
The Crimson Caravan Company has been in business for over 130 years.
Oh,
We're
that's
partially
impressive.
Responsible for the progress in the NCR.
Does they have any competition?
Well, the gunrunners continue to dominate the weapons market, and the Mormon traders from New Canaan control the majority of the northern routes.
You're well dressed for this place.
Normally, I oversee company operations at the hub in California. However, the New Vegas branch has been underperforming in recent years. Given the conditions here, it's not hard to see why.
Right.
I'll change all that soon enough.
I can respect the seriousness involved. I'm looking for work.
I'm afraid we have no current openings for caravanners or guards, but I am in need of a runner.
I'll take it. What do I need to do?
Deliver this invoice to Dr. Hildern. You can find
Hildern.
him somewhere inside Camp McCarran.
Hildern. I'll deliver it to Hildern. This is just a quick little job. You might think of me as a jobber. So we just deliver this, and I think she'll give us some more work. So, some of the stuff we're doing might be a little mercenarial, but also, it's not the worst thing. compared to like it's both mostly just like corporate espionage and stuff like that, which I don't really mind. I think only when it starts involving like small businesses and people who are just working hard, then that's when I have a problem with. But if it's like major companies against each other, then it's like, whatever, I view that as one of those all is fair in love and war type things. Ildern.
Hello.
Yes?
Oh, actually. Various bits of scientific equipment shipped from the Shady Sands.
Yes? Something...
I have an invoice for you from Alice McLafferty.
From Alice. I'll see that she's paid right away. Crimson Caravan runs a tight operation. Even out here in the waste, wouldn't do to keep them waiting. Was there anything else? Or were you just here about the invoice?
For now, yeah.
Yes. Goodbye.
Obviously, we won't be streaming for too long here, but I do want to get at least some... What's the quest for this? Okay, I don't know why it's not giving a marker. Also, since Crimson Caravan works with the NCR, like they're basically allied, then the Crimson Caravan doesn't really have a reputation of their own. So they are, or like they are not considered a faction in their own right for the purposes of reputation management. They idolize me because the NCR idolizes me. Okay. Trying a little bit on the menus.
It seems... Welcome back.
I deliver the invoice just as you asked.
Well, you've proven yourself reliable so far. Would you be interested in more important jobs?
What other work do you have available?
As much as I like to handle matters personally, I can't be everywhere at once. There is a negotiation with a smaller trading outfit that I'd like resolved as quickly as possible. There's also the matter of Henry Jameson, an employee whose services I'd rather do without. His family connections make it difficult, however. And finally, I need someone to acquire the Gunrunner's manufacturing specifications.
Oh.
This job needs to be quiet. No alarms, no deaths.
Tell me about the negotiation.
There's a small trading outfit, Cassidy Caravans, that I'm interested in acquiring. They've been rather competitive, so it's time to buy them out. I have it on good authority that the owner, Cass, wants out of the caravan business. Cass frequently trades with the NCR, so you'll likely find her at the Mojave Outpost.
Alright, I want to know more about the problem with Henry Jameson.
The Jamesons are very wealthy ranchers back in Redding, California, and significant investors in the Crimson Caravan Company. I was pressured into posting young Henry as the manager of the New Vegas branch. As you can see, he wasn't exactly cut out for the job. He was much more interested in gambling and prostitutes, and because of his family, I can't simply fire him. Henry needs to be convinced to quit, one way or another. I won't have a useless employee on the company payroll.
Oh. And what's the gunrunner job about?
The quality of the gunrunners' armaments is due to their manufacturing process. They craft all weapons on site. I want to know the secrets of their manufacturing process, which means you'll need to find some way to get inside their heavily guarded factory. I would greatly prefer that you perform this job undetected and without killing anyone, if it can be helped.
I'll see what I can do.
Thank you. Was there something else?
This is gonna be real fucking interesting.
It's been a pleasure.
That the territories are about to blow up.
That gunner, like I said, corporate espionage. That gunner job, I don't really have a problem with. It is what it is. With the Cassidy Caravans one, that's where it gets a little interesting, like morally, but that is actually one of the steps that we need to be able to sort of give her the kick in the ass required to work with us, essentially. So it's not that we're like deceiving her or anything like that. It's not exactly a hostile takeover. It's just we're convincing her to sell Cassidy Caravans. And obviously the Henry Jameson one, once we meet him, I won't feel so bad about getting his ass out of here. So we're observing some flexibility, we'll say. Okay, heartache by the number. Okay, yeah, that's the one. And that's part of both quests. Heartache by the number is Cass's quest. And you can depend on me as the Crimson Caravan Greater Quest. This one is optional, so we could opt out of it if we want, and then we could just turn in the other ones, but I don't want to do that. Eventually, I would like to complete that one. I'm probably not gonna be able to do it with 24 sneak, however, but maybe with a stealth boy that will be a lot easier, and with that shiny stealth armor. But for now, we'll go see Cass. And since we're gonna be collecting her,
Ooh, got something good for me?
we'll relieve Veronica.
Hope you're picking the winning side here. Be nice to fight for someone who's gonna be around for a while. Nice.
Be gone. Dismissed. Not just about picking the winning side. I don't know, I keep thinking, like, in real life, like, if I was whatever side that I was on, if I was dying for a good cause, would I be comfortable with that? Like, would I be okay with... Like, I feel like one of my biggest fears is just dying from, like, a random accident, or for... because some random person decided that they were going to get aggressive with me and end my life. One of the worries there is that that would just be a waste. But I feel like I'm not entirely opposed to, like, down the road, depending on how things pan out, if y'all know what I mean, eventually dying as part of a greater effort that will save lives and secure a better future. Because part of the painful reality of life is that it eventually ends with death.
One of the ranger vets looked at me, and I just about surrendered.
Just surrender, just in case, like, waving the white flag, and they're like, why are you doing that? Just in case. Just in fucking case.
You come around like a bad habit. What's on your mind?
Crimson Caravan sent me. They want to buy out your caravan.
They want to buy Cassidy Caravans? Don't they know it's burned to ash? No. Even times being what they are. Not sure I'm looking to sell. Even for all the whiskey in Reno.
Wait, what happened to your caravan?
Mojave happened. Hit by raiders packing some heavy firepower. Can't believe the Crimson Caravan haven't heard. So if you want to buy all of Cassidy Caravans, you're looking at it. And what I got in my pockets. Still, as little as that is, not looking to sell.
Why not?
If someone came up to you and offered you 1,000 caps for your name, would you take it? Actually, you know what? Fuck it. I don't want to hear your answer anyway. Point is, I made the Caravan what it is. It's mine.
I mean, technically, I have changed my name a few times. Not like changed legally, just like cycling through different ideas for shit. I have the offer letter here. The terms are fair.
Alice McLafferty, eh? No, I see the zeros, and I know she's good for them. Still, it's not about the money. Dad'd spin like a twister if he ever heard I sold our name for anything.
Are you sure?
Look, I know you came all this way, and that takes some drive, especially these days. Just doesn't feel right. Trading history for a slip of paper.
I don't want to pick this option because that's hell of fucking. I guess we could use this to appeal, but that feels a little cheaper. But I don't want to. I don't know. This outpost is the last place you want to be trapped.
That's a good point. It's the caravan clearance that's got me stuck here. I'm sure this bar's getting tired of propping me up. Give me that paper. I'll put my name to it. No sense trying to hold the past between your fingers when it's nothing but dirt.
This does kind of feel a little sad.
There you go. Caravan's yours. Feel kind of relieved, actually. Guess I didn't realize how much I was carrying around with just the name.
So what will you do now?
No idea. Maybe head back west? Though the idea of heading back there with my tail between my legs isn't appealing.
You come with me.
Go with you? And why the hell would I do that?
You really want to stay in this shithole?
It lost its charm about 3 bottles ago. And that was just this morning.
Oh my
Walking
god.
Mojave with you can't be any worse than here, that's for sure. Alright, I'm in. All this traveling's making me thirsty.
All this traveling. Okay, I gotta stop staring at my character. That's literally conceited as hell. I don't even know if I look that good. Actually, no. I'm fucking beautiful. But like, I think this character has a more buff look, should I say. More chiseled. Kind of makes me a little jealous. But then again, almost everybody in the freaking Bethesda game, since this is produced, I think, by Bethesda, almost everybody in a Bethesda game looks like it has like a fucking supermodel-esque body where they're either ripped or skinny as hell. Alright. I want to find a good spot to have one of those long-ass companion conversations. What am I looking at over there?
We're hunting shitheads.
Are we hunting shit? I don't even know. I don't know what's there. It looks like it's heading this way. Maybe it's a pharaoh or a scorpion or something. It's heading the same direction. I don't think it's Legion, though. If it was Legion, it would be multiple. I forget that happens when you're fast traveling. Man, we do not take good care of ourselves. What the fuck? Oh, it's you! Okay, you're just traveling around the outpost. Alright, Cass, let's chat.
Well, now that I'm free of the outpost, was wondering if you'd mind making a detour. I'd like to pay my respects to the end of Cassidy Caravans. Check out the site where they died.
Where was your caravan hit?
Upside of Vegas, here, Tal. Trapped at the Mojave Outpost, so I wasn't able to run there when I heard. Been weeks since it was hit, so the site's probably a Cazador nest by now.
How did you catch word of it?
Got word back on what happened from Rangers. Guess they found enough in the wreckage to identify it.
Think there's anything left?
Only wishful thinking on my part, most likely. At the least, I'd like to pay my respects. I got them into this mess. I owe them that much.
Let's go then.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Some of the caravan might be ash, but we were expecting raiders and over-inquisitive NCR border guards. There might be something left. If I'm there with you, shouldn't be hard to spot. And I'd prefer to see the bodies with my own eyes. Ask them then.
Actually... well, we'll ask her all these questions. This is a nice little conversation. Can you tell me anything about this platinum chip?
Well, no idea why your friend Mr. House wants it, but I'm guessing it's not for the caps.
Well, Mr. House doesn't want anything anymore. Where'd you get that pendant?
Gift from my dad, along with my name. Rose of Sharon Cassidy. Mom said he got the name out of some old world book about dirt pilgrims. Name sure sounds sweet, though. Anyway, pendant's a little rose. Originally thought it was one of Mom's tribal necklaces, but no. Came from Dad.
Your mother was a tribal?
You know, like one of the tribes from the east. We got 'em out west, too. NCR's herding them up, though, domesticating them. Mom was from east of the Colorado, though.
Like, ugh.
I'm not sure what tribe. Was before the time Caesar rounded them up, made them legion. She walked a hell of a way until she crossed paths with my dad, and he convinced her to stop walking. And lucky for me, he was a horny old bastard.
That's one way to put it.
Didn't ask Mom to elaborate. Never heard her complain about his bedroom behavior. Only complain he wasn't around to do it no more.
Tell me about your dad.
Not much to tell. He ended up walking east one day when I was young and never came back. Not a family deserter like some, though. Mom died waiting for him, and she had me to raise. She was sick, but she held off dying until I was old enough to be getting into trouble with the boys. As for Dad, I figure he just got himself lost or dead. Happens. And I'm not all boo-hoo about it, so save your glass for someone who's crying.
Ah, of course. Any idea why he went east?
Not a clue. When he left, I was 2 in my crib to understand why, and around the time Mom passed, I was 2 into my teens to listen. Got his name, got this pendant, and that's about it.
Where did you learn to shoot?
Short of caps is what taught me mostly. Ammo's expensive, so I learned to make every shot count. And here tell my dad was a crack shot, so I don't want to dirty the family name. Not out of pride. Respect.
That is so fucking funny. What was it? I was telling my dad about how I was a little anxious at the kitchen job because of all the pressure and whatnot. And he and one of the people that works there were both bringing up the possibility that I might feel like I have to, like, I don't know what it, well, actually, they were bringing up the possibility that I was worried about, like, that I felt some anxiety with him working there, but honestly, no, like, we both have different stations when I'm there, so I just do my thing and he does his, but, I think maybe one of the things that might have been brought up was, like, maybe I felt like because he has a good work ethic and he gets shit done that I have to, like, fill his shoes or something like that. But honestly, there might be a little merit, at least to the fact that both of my parents, in whatever careers, whatever paths they have, they bust ass. Like, they become almost indispensable in whatever departments, whatever areas they're in. Like, they are powerhouses. So maybe I do feel, like, a sense of both pride and respect for that. Like, I have to, like, I don't know if it was ever that I didn't like hard work as a kid. And I'm not averse to hard work nowadays, but, like, I feel like I get what Cass is saying here about the whole like, that's a thing. So now I feel like I gotta like, not like any amount of pressure, but I just feel like it feels right. It feels like I'm inheriting something. You know what I mean? And where did you learn how to handle dynamite?
Dynamite's for when you don't have enough bullets, want to clear a pass, or scare off geckos from a caravan. Some of Twister's out of the divide can block off a pass in no time, so you learn how to handle powder so you don't get trapped somewhere. Any event, I prefer shooting if it comes down to an argument. Don't worry, I'll carry my weight if a disagreement arises.
Disagreement. Any other weapons you know how to use?
What, you mean like spears? No, none of that. Mom was a tribal, but she didn't teach me anything like that.
You any good in a fight?
I'm fair with checking dynamite, not bad with a pistol, if I do say so myself. Carry a knife, too, but that's more for practical reasons. Prefer settling things with my fists, though. Made more friends than corpses in bar fights. Plan on keeping it that way. Don't think I'm some kind of Vault City pacifist, though. If things get heated, I'll start shooting. Trust me.
Apparently, the people of Vault City are pacifists. Is whiskey your drink of choice?
Not sure if I chose it, or it chose me. Dad ran a bar a long time ago, and it was a labor of love, Mom said. Didn't sound like it made her happy. Still, I'm guessing I got some of Dad's love of whiskey in me because the burn suits me fine. Used to call me Whiskey Rose back west, before I punched enough people, so now they say it. But quiet, and when I'm not around.
Whiskey Rose?
Yeah, on account of my name. And the blossoms on my cheeks when I drink too much. Won most of those fights, too. Can take a hell of a punch and give it right back when I've got a bottle in me. It's all in how you drink it, though. There's a trick to it. When we pass the bottle, I'll show you how it's done.
Where do you usually go to drink?
There's usually a bar in every stop along the road. Helps me sleep. Well, not really, but I tell myself that. Sometimes I have to brew it myself if I'm too far from a bar. Not quality, but I'm for anything that takes the edge off the day.
You can make moonshine?
Yeah. What else you gonna do with an empty bottle? Wait for it to refill itself? Get me some ingredients out of the Mojave, an empty bottle, a little time, and I'll keep us stocked.
I fucking love metaphors. So maize, 2 mute fruits, yeast, and fission battery? Next time, maybe.
Alright then.
What? Hey. Oh, we're not fucking done.
What did you put a plug in his cock tube to make him explode?
What? Cass, are you talking about Mr. House? I think he did have a cock tube, yes, but no. Why? What? Where did you hear? Is this a game of telephone where people were like going around talking about how I killed Mr. House? And like eventually it just went down the grapevine, and then one of the rangers that she was talking about came back to her is like, yeah, they put some fucking dynamite in there. It was crazy. Like, what? I'm stunned. What is the roof? What? Hang on. At the risk of having the game do that weird fucking bullshit again, I'm going to reset the Xbox party because I think I have discovered that it does not work if... Okay, that's good.
Careful where you flash that chip of yours. Not sure what kind of caps it's worth, but it's a tempting target.
Oh, it's not about the caps. How did you get started in the caravan business?
Started? Took to it like a fish to water. Well, if you know what a fish is.
I'm familiar. Do you know what a fish is?
Well, of course I do. It's this slimy, scaled thing. Like a lake lurk, except no legs. Well, most times. They're like birds, except they stay underwater.
She said like a
Anyway, I've
lake
seen
lurk.
pictures. One guy even had one above his bar in Reading, except it was made of pre-war plastic.
I've seen.
Used to say it could sing, but I figured he was on a jet rush.
Oh my good lord. So you just started in the caravan?
Actually, it sort of fell on me. My feet get antsy if I stay in one place, like the Mojave Outpost. It's driving me crazy, that feeling of being trapped there. So thanks for that.
So you traveled a lot.
Yeah, west, east, and passed through places enough times people would sometimes pay me some caps to take something to the next town.
Like a courier?
Well, not as glamorous, I guess. Roads back west were safer in most places. Most. Anyway, occurred to me I could scratch the traveling itch and get paid for it. Cassidy caravans formed around me. Rest is history.
How's caravan life in the Mojave?
Well, I'm not one for soft living or soft men, let me tell you. Otherwise, I wouldn't be talking to you right now, on both counts.
As long as we keep it on that level.
What? Oh, all right. Guess you've got a Legion outlook on things.
Please don't call
No
it that.
problems here. There's a lot more of that in the Mojave than you see. My point before is that you know the Mojave, and it's a hard place.
And caravan life's the same way?
The caravan fighting here in the Mojave, it's been downright brutal. The amount of caravan space you reserve for ammo alone. And if it's not raiders, powder gangers, it's NCR tolls. They need to get the money from somewhere, even if it's Vegas bound.
Do you deal mostly with NCR?
Anyone wise does. Vegas families pay on time, from what I've heard. Even the Omertas. The White Gloves pay on time, but they're creepy. Deal with anyone else, though, you're taking a big risk.
What about Caesar's Legion?
The Legion? What about them?
Heard
I
that.
don't trade caps or supply anyone who keeps slaves and treats women like Brahmin in those camps of theirs.
You can say that thrice and still be just as correct. Just asking.
Look, not meaning to fly off the handle like that. There's some caravans that deal with the Legion, yes. And as much as it pains me to say it, any caravan marked by the Legion is safe as houses. They guard their roads, their supply lines. Even fiends would hesitate before going after any trader dealing with Legion.
You sound frustrated.
I am. If NCR took the same stand and committed patrols to the roads, then I think that'd solve a lot of their problems right there. But they don't. Caravans get butchered in the Mojave all the time, like mine. And so fucking close to Vegas, you could see it from the wall.
NCR sounds like it has a lot to answer for.
NCR tries. It's just that trying doesn't mean a whole lot when you're paying your respects to the dead. And Legion, from what I've heard, they don't do the stop tolls on the roads or in the outposts like some NCR quartermasters do. You're lucky if you turn a profit sometimes. If some new officer gets assigned a route, the fees just get worse.
Any other differences between Legion and NCR?
Much as I hate the Legion, caravan life would be a hell of a lot easier if they ran the roads. Well, as long as those companies were run by men. And that's the biggest issue I see. And it's a shame. But I think there's people on the NCR side who feel more strongly than I do.
What do you mean?
Some caravans deal with the Legion now because the security. If towns could get the same protection, a lot more tempting than you'd think. A bunch of people would be willing to side with the Legion to not have to worry about fiends and boomers and powder ganger attacks. It's not hard for some folks to sell freedom when the alternative is worse. Especially if being with NCR is going to get you on a Legion cross.
Everything she was saying, oh my goodness. Obviously the effect of that, right, is that the Legion understands tactically, or at least Caesar understands tactically, that to maintain a proper society, you have to protect the things that keep that society alive, including the roads. So, And another side effect of that is, even when it comes to towns, most people are so fucking terrified of picking a fight with the Legion. They're more scared of picking a fight with the Legion than they are picking a fight with the NCR. Like, like Powder Game, like literally the freaking Joe Cobb, before we killed him, was saying that like basically saying like, oh, I'm not scared of the Legion or anything, but I'll stay out of their way. Like basically like Powder Gangers stay out of their way. If the Fiends weren't absolutely batshit, they would stay out of their way too. Because for lack of a better term, they run a tight ship. And hang on, is it a tight ship or a tight shift? I gotta look this up. I want to be correct. Run a tight ship is definitely the standard phrase. It means to manage something in a very disciplined, organized, and efficient way. So obviously, like what she was saying, like, oh, as long as those companies are run by men. So basically, all we've seen of the Legion so far is when they're conquering tribes, and they end up subsuming the entire tribe under their thing. So we can reasonably expect that they'll do the same thing with the NCR, or not the NCR, the Mojave as well, if they were to get their way and if they were to win. So that's that main problem there, or that's one of the problems there, is that everybody would be subject. So for one thing, the indispensable or the inexcusable fuckery of literally just every single woman and girl, like we saw that little girl at the fort, that freaking Legion asshole took her teddy bear away from her, you know, just to be fucking mean. And literally like women and girls all enslaved. Like, I would take more seriously some idiot who was actually arguing for the benefit of the Legion if either it was a woman doing it or if it was a man who was okay with the alternative, or like a reversal of that scenario where it was a matriarchal society that treated men like garbage and enslaved them, subjected them to assault, murderous conditions, etc. Because at the very least, like, it's one thing, like, all these idiots, like, in real life defending the Legion, saying things like, oh, I guess enslaving all women is a necessary evil. I'm like, we don't even actually have an answer for why Caesar chooses women to target as part of his thing. Like, why he only employs men. We just have hypotheses and theories and whatnot. So, you don't even know what the fuck. And for another, why are you as a man making the call and the decision that that women's rights, like not even just like women's rights in general, but women's rights to live, to be anything other than enslaved, why are you deciding that's dispensable? Why are you making that decision? That's fucking silly. If you had fucking trying to formulate what I'm trying to say here. If you were arguing for that same, if you were able to accept that same treatment for yourself, I would still disagree with you, but at least I could take you seriously. But it's kind of like a fucking libertarian who hasn't actually had any struggles of their own. You know what I mean? That they've had to deal with. That hasn't actually had to stand on their own 2 feet and pull themselves up by the bootstraps, as it seems to be their fucking political fantasy. I feel like I complain about libertarians more than I complain about Republicans. But either way, it's like, okay, congratulations in this fucking fantasy world that you've concocted. Hey, you'd probably be fucking miserable if you were in the Legion as a soldier, even. Because even though you're not, like, doing the manual labor and shit, you're still enslaved. It's still an army of slaves. Like, your life is not your own. You belong to Caesar. You belong to Caesar and Caesar alone. You know what I mean? Like, your will becomes his will. Or no, his will becomes your will. His will subsumes your will. What do you think of NCR?
NCR's my country, and I support it. Anyone who says otherwise, I'll feed them my knee. I know which
Well,
side of the
whatever.
firing line I'm on in the Mojave. Just so you know.
Well, one, I can take a knee for breakfast. Like, I'm fine with that because I don't fucking support the NCR. And, I mean, like, whatever. Like, if you... Like, I think she's amenable. Like, she's okay with, the kind of route that I'm going to go with. I don't think she supports the Legion, is what I'm gathering. Like, she wouldn't support, if I was trying to fight for the Legion. There's a but in there.
Yeah, there is. I'm not some blind, flag-saluting, do-as-they-will NCR lover. They're family. But let me tell you what family means. You ever had a brother? Some dumbass younger brother, say, who knocked up the pastor's daughter, can't hold a job, and is home away as a jail cell? That's NCR. Their compass is spinning all the time.
Heard that, so they lack direction?
They try to put their stake in everything they see. Nobody's dick's that long. Not even Long Dick Johnson, and he had a fucking long dick. Thus the name.
Yeah, I got that part, thanks.
So NCR tries to hold on to everything. They can't, because it's too big for them to get their arms around.
Yep.
They can't guard the roads. They can't put a line of troops around the Mojave. It's just greed that makes the heads back west even try.
Yep. So the Mojave suffers.
Aside from the people in the towns, it's the soldiers that suffer for it most. Ever seen NCR troops asked to go after gangs at 3-to-1 odds? That bear flag doesn't make them bulletproof.
Nope.
And when those gangs were caused by NCR in the first place, like the powder gangers,
Ooh.
Caesar on a crutch. Don't get me started there.
Ooh. Ooh. So much to talk about. We'll do this after. There's other alternatives.
Look, and what I'm about to say, I don't mean as any offense to you. I know where your sympathies lie.
Oh.
I wouldn't want the Brotherhood, or the Followers, or the Vegas families running the Mojave. All of them are a different kind of fuck-up. NCR just has some shaping up to do. Maybe Caesar kicking them in the nuts is a nice wake-up call, is all I'm saying. I just wish Caesar would kick the heads of NCR, not the feet. I've fucked a soldier in my time. They don't need to get fucked by their orders.
Oh my god. Oh, so much of what she said. I can see where she's coming from with the NCR. And I'm sure, like, because, like I said, like, most people who are alive in, like, the events in New Vegas right now, they're gonna be, like, people, like, you know, like, middle-aged at most. Like, they're not people who remember what it was like, perhaps before the NCR became a widespread thing. But what was that first thing that she was saying? Fuck, I'm trying to remember. After feeding the knee, and then she said, but about the NCR basically going above and beyond, like being spread too thin. Like, this is a common criticism that a lot of characters have of the NCR. And she's absolutely right, because, and part of it's, what was it she's saying about the greed of the heads back west making them even try? Throughout human history, when it comes to any kind of power structure, you could say that it's corruption, you could say that it's part of this, how the framework of the system itself, you could say whatever, but either way, when it comes to leadership, sometimes you have this dynamic where usually the people who want something, most of the decisions that are being made by the people in power without necessarily consulting the people first. So usually what they'll do afterwards is, if you have someone in power, say the president right now, and or members of Congress who want something, they're going to make effort towards that something because it's what they want. And they're only going to make sure that we support them if our support is necessary for them to achieve what they want. So usually, what was Mr. House saying before we killed him? He was saying that there's only one reason why the NCR hasn't contrived some outrage to attack. Like, basically, they're doing the same shit that America does right now, where they're getting they're they're convincing people that a course of action is right and just as an act of manipulation. Because if enough people were absolutely displeased with the decision that was being made, part of how America's able to get away with half of what's getting away with is there are a lot of people that even now still support their actions. Even some Republicans have been put off with the recent actions of Israel the past couple years, right? But a lot of them still support that. A lot of them are actually leaning into it because it's exactly what they want to see for various reasons, but we're not going to get into the specifics there. But so they have enough people being supportive of those actions that they don't have to garner support for anybody else because we're busy trying to deal with the people who support those actions because they're taking it upon themselves to also make things worse for us. So our support as the majority is not necessarily necessary. But what I'm basically saying is these powers are making decisions and expecting the people to pick up the check for those decisions. It's the theme with almost any war when it comes to America or a country like America, is it's not always the decision of the people to do that war. Like, usually it's some kind of resource-based thing, and which is exactly what's happening here with the Mojave. You have the NCR, which is occupying. They are colonizers here. You have the NCR occupying the Mojave and deciding that everybody within they want everybody, as many people as possible in the jurisdiction. And even Crocker and Shu and Moore and everybody will tell you, oh yeah, that's our mission. We want the Mojave. Like, they're keeping it very real. Like, they want the whole. They don't like the situation they have with Mr. House in Vegas, where all that money is going towards. They don't like having to work with anybody. They just want to own it all. But these are the people in power, and a lot of the people, these patriots, like Cass over. Oh no, the thing what Cass was saying. I'll get to that in a second. Well, what Cass was saying earlier about the NCR being family, but literally, like, there's a lot of manipulation going on, but also, I'm not sure whether there's a draft in the NCR during the events of this game or what, but you do have a lot of soldiers, and they're basically there to fulfill the needs, or not even the needs, the wants and desires of the people in power, like the people who are part of, like, the circle or whatever they're called. The people who run the NCR. They're not fulfilling necessarily their own desires unless they've been manipulated into that being their desires by the people in power. As in, their will, it's a different kind of thing compared to what the Legion's doing, because the Legion is kind of like an effective brainwashing thing, but it's also a fear thing, because if you fuck up, if you go against what Kaisar wants, you're getting the shaft in more ways than one. You will, like, you might be facing the ritual of Dekimatio. You might be crucified for your impotence or your failure or whatever. So there's a different sort of encouragement/discouragement situation going. Different kind of reinforcement. But with the NCR, it's similar to pre-war America and America in real life, where it's manipulating the public to get them to be okay with something, at least to the point where there's not going to be, like, civil unrest if they make a certain decision that they want to make. But it's still the desires of the people in power, even if it's multiple people versus one with the Legion. Now, on to what she was saying about the NCR being family. The NCR doesn't give a fuck about her. The NCR doesn't give a fuck about anybody but itself and the people in power. That's what that whole sense of the thing about family is it's usually a mutual thing. Like, all parties involved consider themselves and each other to be family, even if it's like a found family scenario, or even if it's like someone who's not necessarily blood related to you, but they've been involved in your life since you were a kid, or you've been involved with someone else's, like y'all grew up together, something like that. Like family can take on different things, but there's love there, there's empathy there. Otherwise, then they become family that you don't speak to, or that doesn't speak to you, family that disowned you, or vice versa. So, Jesus Christ, parasocial, you need to log off. I'm sorry, y'all. The amount of SnapQ FanDub references I'm making throughout this entire thing is gonna be fucking atrocious and cringe. Just FYI. But that's the thing. It is parasocial. And I can respect the loyalty on her part. It's just loyalty has to be a two-way thing, otherwise it means nothing. Like if a corporation expects loyalty from you, typically they're prepared to provide nothing in return. They expect loyalty from you by not allowing yourself to be poached by another company, or by always showing up on time, doing your best, because that's what they want from you. That's not how it is in every single workplace, but that is in a lot of those larger ones. Because then you have the situation where, like, the NCR, where, like Arcade was saying about the OSI. The OSI had the greater good in mind for their decisions, but they also are in danger of seeing people as numbers on a ledger and more thinking about the end goal rather than thinking about the means by which they are achieving that. So and how the NCR initially was a force of good, and some people believe still is, but they are making so many mistakes and making so many decisions that treat the lives that they're handling like chess pieces. The whole thing about what she was saying, domesticating the tribes. I know she used that metaphorically, but even the term domestication referring to what you might do with animals. Like literally just like the thought that the NCR sees these people, these tribes, these members of tribes as animalistic. It's such an uncomfortable parallel to the way America saw and sees indigenous people today. And just like all these like the way that the fucking writing in this game, the way that these groups just so heavily mirror not just the idealistic aspect, but also the horrible aspects of the cultures that they're trying to emulate. It's like life imitates art, imitates life, back and forth, whichever the chicken or the egg. What was that last thing that I wanted to talk to her, or talk about what she said about? Basically, like, that kind of covers, like, the whole thing. Is like that sense of family is not mutual, because they don't really care about anybody. They're getting greedy, and that's what happens. Is the leadership. What was Caesar saying? Is that apparently Tandy was excellent. She, Lieutenant Boyd was talking about how she was one of the ones who was responsible for restrictions for how to treat prisoners of war, which is very interesting. And how she was kind of complaining about that. But the fact that, like, Tandy was such a kind ruler, but also once she left or died or however she ended up she probably died because, like, the people, like, just loved the shit out of her so much that they elected her ad infinitum. And the fact that after that point is when things are starting to fall apart for the NCR is very interesting. That might actually be a legitimate criticism on his part of the NCR. And that's the thing. That's that main issue that I have with them, is that they are the followers I trust because they remain a benevolent organization. Even though, like, there was this meme going around, apparently the followers were a lot more badass and a lot more willing to engage in violence and whatnot during the events of 1 and 2. And now they're kind of like meek. They're kind of just like there to like provide medical treatment or whatever. I still like them to the core, like who they are, what they're about. Like this idea that they're here to spread knowledge for the greater benefit of everyone. That's actually very, very similar to my real life beliefs. having to do with humanity and people and whatnot. Because if you have, and that's part of the issue that I have with like the NCR, is I feel like that's part of why they're at odds with the followers, and I think it's a very subtle thing, is that the NCR is trying to manipulate its people into being okay with its actions. But the followers believe in spreading knowledge and wisdom and education among the people. It's not just medical treatment and physical resources they're seeking to provide. It's increasing the consciousness of the people to ensure that they are perceptive, that they are wise, that they can parse truth from lies. And what use does the NCR or any society like it have for people that are difficult to manipulate? I saw this great video that was talking about how like trans people are inconvenient in a way, and not like as like a criticism of us, but in a way that because I consider myself as part of the umbrella, you know what I mean? But we, as a community, as individuals, actually, we make things more difficult we make things more inconvenient because we take our genders into our own hands, and we do not wait for government documents or any such thing to validate us. We know who we are, and we have the will to see that. Like a lot of communities, I would imagine this is especially a thing for, I'm not going to like, actually I'm not going to speak on that, but I will say that I would imagine for a lot of communities, there, especially if you're a part of an oppressed community, there's going to be an aspect of you, of your identity, of who you are, of who you know you are, that is overlooked or misunderstood by the government that you're a part of. Like, and at least I'll speak on for myself, this is a thing when it comes to gender, is I just recently moved to Indiana, so I can't put the X marker on my ID. If once I get my name changed, I can't put an X marker on my ID because they don't have that here. They only have male and female, and they probably have like very tough restrictions for how, like, if you like wanted to change your marker to one thing or another, like you'd probably have to get, I'm not going to speculate, but I would imagine much more restricted than in California. But I'm still non-binary, and that is not dependent. My identity, who I am, is not dependent on how the U.S. government sees me. It is not my name that I go by. I still put my legal name on my resume and all that, but I also put my given name in quote marks so that people know that is, I say, oh, I almost doxed myself. Oh my good fucking god. But my name is my name, right? My given name, or my chosen name. Like I said, I went back to my family name because I didn't want people to feel like, members of my family feel like I was rejecting that. But also it's important, my family name is important to me, you know what I mean? But also my first name is also important to me because it's the name that I would have been given if I was assigned female at birth. And it's a badass, beautiful name. So it's like, the name that I had the name that I had chosen before, it was alright. But it was literally just something that I picked randomly. It was like part of like, the inspiration was an OC that I had for Skyrim. But honestly, it wasn't that great at all. And I was like, I literally like was changing everything over that. No. But I digress. I'm saying my name is my name and my gender is my gender, not depending on what validation I receive from the US government, but depending on my own personal identity. And I might make efforts to see that that is, or I am, just by simply declaring that, I am part of the pressure of the efforts in putting pressure on the U.S. government to amend that, on Indiana, perhaps, to amend that. The more and more people who take their identities into their own hands, then everything else has to wrap around to accommodate that. So that is what that makes me think of. If you have people who are wise, they are also people who are strong in will and their perception of themselves and their identity. They have a strong sense of self. That's very, very important, not just for your quality of life, but also for your capacity to avoid manipulation, to avoid being manipulated by others. So places like the NCR have no use for people like us, because we frustrate the status quo. We disrupt it in a way. I'm not trying to say like I'm not trying to be like use hyperbole like, oh, existing is revolutionary. I mean, it kind of is in a way, like it's got like a hint of it, but you know what I'm trying to say is by declaring yourself in a manner, by asserting yourself, you are reaffirming, you are stating, I am not here to serve you. You are here to serve me. Or you are here to serve us as the people. By basically giving people no choice but to accommodate you. Where was I going? What was that original point? Is that's the difference. That's why I like the followers so much, is they believe in that personal wisdom and that strength of character. And that's not only how you avoid like I said, like that's also how you ensure that you have a quality of life. If everybody in a given scenario has access to the mental health resources that they need, can recover physically and mentally from the various types of wounds they have received throughout their lives, if they can have free access to knowledge and information, then depending on the kind of person or people that they are, they will use that information, not just the intelligence that they receive, but they will develop a sense of wisdom. Depending on how indoctrinated you are, it takes a lifetime to even get through the surface level shit. Like, that's like, learning to be a freaking Jedi, you know what I mean? Like, it's learning the Force, it takes a lifetime of study, and even then there might be some higher mysteries you've missed. And learning can be painful. And I'm not even going to try to use that to try to sugarcoat and say some shit like, oh, it's uncomfortable sometimes, But, just because you're uncomfortable doesn't mean you're in danger. Fuck that. Learning can be painful. Learning can be agonizing at times. Because it involves a healthy amount of distrust for yourself. For what you perceive. Having to recognize that truth and champion that truth, that your perceptions are not necessarily the reality around you. So you have to take... Part of what it is to be wise is to take not just your own the stimuli that you are receiving, but also the evaluations that you are receiving from others, and using that to formulate your own ideas and your own true perception, as close to you can come as your own truth of perceptions of the world around you. That is an ongoing process that will never end, and it doesn't have to end. That's not the goal. It's not the destination that matters. This is the journey. Because you will get to an acceptable point in time. As long as you continue to learn, you continue to keep your mind open, and you continue to listen to things. Even things you don't necessarily agree with. Not necessarily agree with them, but at least listen to them. Take the knowledge within yourself and see if at least there is something that you can take away from what is being said. Like what she's saying, I'm taking something away from this. I don't like the NCR, but I do recognize that if there was not at least a group, then things might be more dangerous. Like, things are dangerous in the Mojave under the NCR, but that's because their presence here is still tenuous. Over in, like, the places like Shady Sands, they're probably, like what she was saying, they're very safe. Because they are a proper country. And if it's a difference between living like people live in the Mojave and living like people live over in the NCR, a lot of people might choose NCR life. And like she was saying, there are even people, mostly men, who would choose Legion life as well. Or at least they would choose to be a civilian under the Legion banner. Because they have those. You don't see that a whole lot, but you have like Dale Barton that... is that Dale Barton? No, that might be that guy from the beginning. You have people like that trader in the freaking fort who's literally a civilian who's from, I think, like Arizona or something like that, or like the ruins of Arizona, who was talking about how it's very safe to trade with the Legion as long as you're not trading chems or alcohol or anything like that. So obviously, you can even be a woman and a civilian under the Legion. It sounds like you're probably just gonna have a harder time because they're literally gonna see you as subhuman. But you won't necessarily be enslaved if you're not part of a conquered tribe. You know what I mean? This is the fuck was I talking about? Let's see if she has anything else. What can you tell me? Oh my gosh, she has more questions. What can you tell me about New Vegas?
Much as anyone else. Cazador trap. You fly in, the city sucks a pint out of you, then you're out on the street. NCR makes a habit of going there and dumping cash. Only the Strip gets fat off it.
Yep.
Couldn't tell you much more than that. Not really one for New Vegas when there's enough dumpwater bars in the Mojave to last me.
I can definitely tell a dumpwater bar is more her aesthetic. I'm not being insulting. That sounds catty as hell. Like that sounds like I'm completely like reaming her. Like, yeah, I can tell that you like to spend time in fucking dumpster-looking bars. You look like a fucking no. I'm being denotative. Like that is her place of choice. I think she repels fancy. Like like those fucking thumpers repel the antlions from Half-Life 2. Know anything about Mr. House?
Not much. And I haven't had occasion to look for anything more than that. I've heard what most people know. He's said to run New Vegas. He runs the robots. But, well, no one's really seen him. Of course, no one really will now that he's dead. Good thing, too. No idea what that contraption was on his pecker.
She's... So yes, confirmed. She was asking about Mr. House when she was asking about the fucking... Did you blow up his cockhole or some shit like that? His cock pipe. Alright, let me give her the armor and then we'll be done. Jesus, Kaz.
Let's see what you got.
An empty whiskey bottle. Apparently she intends to wait for that shit to refill itself. There we go. That's fucking right. My troops. I have myself a little paramilitary organization. Huh. Do I usually not put in...
Can't tell you how glad I am you butchered the fiends. Caravans across the wastes are gonna be buying you drinks for years.
I don't know if I will continue to travel with her in the immediate future, like during the next stream or what, but we have added her to the party. We've collected her, essentially. What am I saying? Oh yeah, I think it's time. I think it's time to end the stream. Cass yapped a lot. I yapped a lot. Fun times were had by all. Thank y'all very much for watching. I think there's still one viewer in chat. Thank you for watching. I'm probably just gonna stream regular time on Wednesday. If depending on what I have, I might end up with one of those like 8 to 5s. Well, 9 to 5, 8 to 5s, whatever. For Monday through Friday. I'm getting ahead of myself though. I still need to. I'm gonna keep putting in them applications every day. I want a job ASAP. Not like I don't. My dad told me not to worry about when I get one. As long as I'm still applying consistently, then I'm fulfilling his expectations. But I also want to get one for myself because for one thing, I want to buy shit. Like, I'm saving my money right now, but I want shit. I want a Kufia from Hirbawi. I didn't get to get one last time because I think they were out of stock at the time, and also they weren't. I didn't really have that kind of spending money available. Like I said, I either want to get a new PC or a new console. I got plans, and a lot of them involve having things like I haven't been buying shit for myself in years, and I want to do that again, you know? But, you know, that's what So I don't think, depending on what I get, my streaming schedule might not change. But I'll keep you all posted on that. At least y'all on the Discord. You 3 people in the Discord. Like I said, thank y'all for watching. Bye.